Don't win tonight. Don't win tonight, because then you walk into a buzzsaw. You ever see the movie Fargo where Steve Buscemi winds up on a wood chipper? That's what going into Denver to play the Nuggets is. Just the end of your season immediately. Lose tonight. Find a way to get in and be the 8 seed, play Oklahoma City. Let me give you numbers. The last 8 times the Lakers have played the Nuggets, you know how many times the Lakers won? 0. 4 of the 8 were double-digit wins for Denver. 4 of them were in the Western Conference Finals a year ago. Meantime, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Lakers played each other 4 times this year. The Lakers won 3. And OKC, as magnificent as their season has been, is the youngest team ever to be a 1 seed and the second youngest team in the NBA this year. So you're LeBron James. You tell me who you want to play. You tell me who you want to play. You want to make fun of me for saying they should lose tonight? Sometimes you got to lose a battle to win a war. I won over Chiney Ogwumike. I won over Timmy Legler. I won over Zach Lowe. And I won over Tim Legler. And I won over Brian Windhorst. Have I won over you?
No, most definitely not. Your take is a deeply unserious one. Deeply. Look.
Why is it unserious?
It's unserious because you're suggesting something that would never happen.
You're telling me that in the history of sports, no team has ever intentionally lost a game to jerry-rig where it winds up in the postseason or to some other way? This is a sport in which teams take entire seasons so that they can draft the best player? This happens all the time in sports. People are acting like I'm suggesting something unprecedented.
You are.
Teams trying to find ways to give themselves the best possible matchup in the next round or whatever it might be is a tale as old as time.
No, it's not. The play-in's less than 5 years old, and you're electing...
Teams just usually do it in the regular season.
To put yourself up against a wall, to create an elimination game for yourself?
It's insane.
You're out of your mind.
No, you know what? You were then facing 4 straight elimination games against the Nuggets, and your season is over. Let me ask you something, Mr. I love numbers so much. Okay? You can put everything into numbers. You love percentages. You live for percentages.
I do.
You are to percentages as Cam is to mustaches, okay? That's how much you love them. Which is a better chance of happening? The Lakers winning at home Friday night against either Sacramento or Golden State, or the Lakers beating the Nuggets in a 7-game series in round 1?
A, easily.
So then what am I missing? Like what part of this doesn't make sense to you?
Because you're creating a false binary.
What's false about it? I just gave you the 2 things that could happen.
You're acting as if the Lakers would avoid the Nuggets for good if they wind up losing this game.
No, I'm saying nothing of the kind.
Yes, you are.
I'm saying you have 2 options. You either wind up playing a winner-take-all game on Friday night. That's what happens if you lose tonight. And then you avoid Denver for as long as is possible, considering you're in the conference. Or you win tonight and you play them immediately. Like, I don't understand what's so complicated about this. I really don't get what it is. There's something about it. Look, I'm not an idiot. I fully recognize that there's something about it that seems to fly in the face of competitiveness and of all that. And is there bad, karma that you put into the air? I get all that. And I get that they're not going to do it. Or I'm not even 100% sure they're not going to do it. But let's say it's unlikely. And they're certainly never going to acknowledge they did it. But... I really don't understand what part of it is so controversial. What part of it doesn't make sense?
The part that doesn't make sense to me is that you're acting that somehow ducking the Nuggets immediately makes it much likelier that you'll beat them later or that they'll lose later. I would posit that the Lakers have a better chance to beat Denver earlier in the playoffs because of the makeup of their roster. The Nuggets in 3 of the last 5 years in the playoffs were eliminated before the conference finals. It has historically taken them a while to get going. The Lakers have a near 40-year-old LeBron James and an oft-injured Anthony Davis, who right now are healthy, and perhaps catching the Nuggets earlier in the playoffs is more advantageous to them. Also, losing a game intentionally or manufacturing a loss puts you in a winner-take-all, a loser-go-home game, potentially against Steph Curry, which is not a situation that any coach in the history of mankind would ever find desirable. That's where it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's not desirable. No outcome here is desirable. You don't want either of these things to happen. If I gave them a third option, I'm sure they'd love that. But you don't have a third option. You either win tonight and you play Denver, or you lose tonight and you play either Sacramento or Golden State. To me, I don't know why we have to make it any more complicated than that.
What is the objective? The objective is to win the championship.
Right.
In order to win the championship, the Lakers are going to have to beat Denver at some point in all likelihood.
Yes, in all likelihood. But weird things happen. So maybe someone knocks them off. If I'm the Lakers, I go into this postseason thinking I have a better chance of beating any of the other 8 teams in the West field. And I forget about who could play. There are 10 teams alive in the Western Conference, well, play-in/playoffs right now. The Lakers are one of them, the Nuggets are another. So there are 8 other teams. If I'm the Lakers, I'm thinking I'd rather play any of those 8 than Denver. Is there some chance someone else beats them in round 1 or in round 2? There's a chance. I don't know how good a chance. It's not likely because Denver is just the best team, but there's some chance. So I'd rather give that a chance to happen and live in a world where I don't ever wind up having to play them than assure myself of having to be the first ones, the first lamb being led to that slaughter.
Are you sure Denver is so clearly the best team in the West?
I watched Nikola Jokic play against Anthony Davis in person 4 times last year in late May or early June or whenever that was. I was at those games. Anthony Davis is not an answer to Nikola Jokic. This is not, look, I have been hard on Anthony Davis over the course of time. He's had a terrific year. He played, I think, 76 or 77 games this year.
Played all year.
God bless him. He played all year. He played great. He's a great player.
Is he going to be second-team All-NBA for you, you think?
I think. We're going to fill out the bracket, or my ballot today, by the way. We're all going to do that together today. Although I think I'm dismissing the opinions of Cam and Bubba based on their facial hair decisions.
We got criminals to catch.
Yeah, I mean, the two of them just look
each other.
Yeah, don't get me started. But anyway, Anthony Davis is a terrific player. He's had a terrific year. This is a bad matchup for him. Styles make fights. He does not fight well with Nikola Jokic. He doesn't have the beef. Nikola Jokic is so big. Have you ever stood next to Nikola Jokic? Okay. I don't know that it is evident sometimes. I mean, this is true of all basketball players to some degree. I don't know if it's evident just how big Nikola Jokic is. He's enormous. Like, what is his height and weight listed at? Because whatever he's listed
6'11".
And what's his weight?
That
I'm not
I don't
talking
know.
about his height.
280. Does he feel it in person?
I think that's before breakfast. I don't think he's 280.
I mean, he doesn't look it on TV because he's not like muscular, like
That's my
visibly
point.
muscular.
He's not. He looks like a defensive tackle. He's
Right.
like kind of a little soft, but he's so big. I mean, he just takes up so much space. He's unbelievably big. What is Anthony Davis listed at weight-wise?
Anthony Davis listed at 6'10", 250.
Okay, so that's 30 pounds, and I'm going to say Nikola Jokic. I'm not 100% sure I buy that, but that he's 280.
Chet Holmgren is 207, by the way.
So Chet Holmgren.
And he's 7'1".
Right. So Chet Holmgren and Nikola Jokic standing next to each other are the number 10. All right. I mean, that's how. But the point of my story is that Jokic is so big, and he was getting anywhere he wanted to on the floor against Davis, and there was just nothing Davis could do about it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I think it's a bad matchup for the Lakers. I think it's a bad matchup for anybody.
But who are the teams that have a big who could bang with him? Anthony Davis is a finesse big, right? He is a finesse big. He's a magnificent shot blocker. All the things he does are things that don't have any bearing on Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic isn't down there trying to, use his footwork, although he does do that extraordinarily well. Nikola Jokic is playing up at the top of the circle. He's making unbelievable passes, and then he's bringing his freaking huge body and that enormous behind down into the lane, and he's just moving backwards, and you're moving with him against your will. You need someone who weighs 280 pounds standing there anchoring his feet and holding on for dear life, and that's just not who Anthony Davis is.
It's not. It's a bad matchup for them. But you're still not going to convince me that ducking them in round 1 is the best way to go. If the objective is to win the championship, you're likely to have to beat them anyway, and weird things happen is not a good enough excuse. Tell me why the Lakers have a better chance of beating Denver 3 weeks from now than they do right now.
I don't know that they do, but I know that in order to have a chance to win a championship, you have to stay alive. Like, what did Jim Valvano once famously say? Survive and advance. Just survive and advance. You play Denver, you're extremely unlikely to survive and advance. I'm not suggesting they have no chance to beat them, but they certainly have less chance to beat them than they do against anybody else.
You're acting, though, like the objective is to win one playoff series. The objective is to win 4.
The objective is to stay alive as long as you can and see what happens. Crazy things happen.
By the way, did you watch Game 82 between Denver and San Antonio? Denver did not look like a juggernaut to me. Denver lost the number 1 seed in that game. They're not as good. They're not as good as they were last year. The Lakers are a little better than they were.
Even better reason why someone else might beat them.
At this point than last year.
So who would they play? If the Lakers lose to the Pelicans tonight, then the Pelicans become the 7.
Yeah.
And they would play Denver. Mm-hmm. Can the Pelicans play them? I mean,
no,
Zion.
They can't hang.
You're looking for someone with a little beef in his behind. I mean, she's got a chance to bang in there with Nikola Jokic. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying he wants someone big and strong. Obviously, he's not that guy.
The paint would be very occupied.
Yeah, heavily occupied. So okay, but I don't like New Orleans in that series at all.
By the way, would you favor the Lakers against OKC in a 7-game series?
I call it a toss-up at minimum.
You know the only team to beat OKC 3 times this season?
Was the Lakers.
Was the Lakers.
Right. Why are you making my argument for me?
I'm just giving you facts.
Yeah,
letting our listeners decide whose side they're on.
But the facts you're giving me bolster my point against yours.
Your point is irrefutable. There is no question that playing the Thunder is a clearer path than playing the Nuggets in round 1.
And yet everyone is refuting it.
Right, because you are positing something that is the antithesis of sport, of competition, of America. You are positing something that is so counterintuitive to everything that we've been taught to think about sports our entire lives.
Right, but if it didn't happen all the time, I wouldn't have thought of it myself.